Hello class 11. Today we are going to do the fourth part of this lesson, that is types of economies. And earlier we did the basic details about the two kinds of types of economies. Then we specified on to developed and underdeveloped economies. Then we also specified upon the capitalist economy and the socialist economy. Now we are going to do the mixed economy. Basically, a mixed economy is an economy where the elements of both capitalist and socialist economies are considered and they are combined. In other words, if I put, it is also an attempt where all the positivities and all the features of capitalist and socialist economies are brought together, and the demerits of both the kinds of economies are removed. They are not brought into existence, but the features and the merits of both the kinds of economies, that is capitalist and socialist, are brought together to combine. That makes a mixed economy. Okay, so we are going to see the features of a mixed economy. So here are the features. The first feature is coexistence of public and private sector. So basically both the sectors work together. See, public sector, the motive is social welfare, whereas private sector's motive is profit earning or to maximize profits. On the other hand, in the public sector, those kinds of fields are seen where huge investment is needed. So government takes care of the huge investments like the transportation, railways, and communication sector, then banking sector, finance sector. These are all examples of public sector. On the other hand, private sector includes those parts where not much investment is needed, like production of consumer goods and services, and agriculture and retail trade. These are just examples of the public sector. So both the sectors are coexistent. The next feature is coexistence of capitalist and socialist features. So here what happens is that in this, the features of both the kinds of economies are taken into consideration. They are coexistent. Okay, so that means features of a capitalist economy like price mechanism, competition, private property, profit earning motive. These are all features from the capitalist economy. And from the socialist economy, there are features like presence of economic planning and government regulation of activities, of the economic activities, emphasis on economic equality, social welfare. These are all features taken from the socialist economy. So they are coexistent. The next feature is economic planning. Now, economic planning is very essential, okay, in order to promote economic development. There are different things due to which economic planning is important. Like number one, if you want to promote economic development, you need economic planning. If you want to ensure a smooth and systematic running of the economy, you need economic planning. If you want to regulate the entire economy, if you want to coordinate all the workings of public and private sector together, you need economic planning. So to run two kinds of economies in one kind of a country, in one economy, you want to run two economies, two features, then you need economic planning. Okay. The next feature is regulation and control of the private sector. So the government actually regulates the private sector through various policies. Okay, and policies can be the taxation policy, it can be through subsidies, it can be through policies of licensing, it can be monetary policies. There are lots of different kinds of policies. Okay, so government tries to regulate the private sector. That means government tries to control the private sector through taxation policies, through imposing monetary policy on them, through imposing licensing on them. Okay, different kinds of forced things are done on them so that they remain in the control of the government. Okay, and the government also tries to make sure that the private sector is, of course, the private sector is going to earn profits, that is their motive, but they also promote welfare for the country, okay, for the entire economy, for the entire nation. Okay, so this is what the government tries to control. The next feature is promotion of social welfare. So basically the government is trying to make efforts in this kind of an economy. The government actually makes efforts so that economic welfare, social welfare can be provided to the people in the society, in the entire economy. Okay. The next important thing in this is that the government actually tries to provide various facilities, like education facility, like health and sanitation facility, and other kinds of facilities, but providing it free of cost. Okay, so government tries to not only provide with these facilities free of cost, it also tries to safeguard the interest of the laborers. It tries to safeguard the interests of the consumers. Okay, it tries to give them lots of rights, and employment opportunities are created, and inequalities are removed. This is everything that government is doing through social welfare in this economy. Okay, the next feature is price mechanism. Okay, so we are just going to take an example here. Prices, let's say, of essential commodities, like for example gas price, or electricity charges, or railway train tickets, these are all fixed by whom? By the government. So here government takes control. Government is kind of in charge of the price mechanism. Okay, so government is trying to dominate over the capitalist economy over here in order to regulate the prices, or in order to promote price mechanism. So prices of all the essential things are done by the government. Okay, next is profit motive. Okay, so profit motive is definitely a big factor that actually helps the private sector to keep working, because their ultimate motive is to earn profit. But the government makes sure that private sector is not so blindly lost in this motive of profit earning that they forget the social welfare of the society. So of course private sector is going to earn profit, but they will also keep social welfare in mind, and they will work accordingly. Next is preservation of freedom. Okay, so freedom is given in different ways to the people in the society, like we can say freedom of choosing the occupation. They can choose the kind of job they want to do. People are free to save money. They are free to invest their money. Consumers are also free to choose between what goods and services they want to consume. Okay, and on the other hand, people enjoy the political freedom also. Okay, though there are certain restrictions, but they can enjoy political freedom also. Also, government tries to definitely impose some control over the people when it is giving them freedom, but still even after giving some restrictions over that, people have quite a lot of freedom. Okay, so that is the kind of freedom that a mixed economy experiences. Now we are going to see the merits of a mixed economy. Okay, so there are some merits that we are going to talk about. The first merit is proper allocation of resources. Now, resources in a mixed economy are very properly, very appropriately, they are divided between the public and the private sector. Okay, between both the sectors, the resources are properly and appropriately divided, keeping in mind that the actual aim is to provide welfare to the society. Okay, so keeping the overall interest of the economy in mind, the resources are evenly distributed among the public and the private sector. Next is economic stability. Now actually a mixed economy tries to avoid all the ups and downs that it faces in the economy by doing what? By controlling the situation, and also by having economic planning. Okay, so by doing planning and by keeping a control over every situation, it tries to help and bring stability in the economy. Now what kind of stability? In very simple words, it is easy to understand that the stability here that is being talked about means that it tries to remove or eliminate overproduction of a commodity and underproduction of a commodity. Which means overproduction means production more than what is required, and underproduction means production less than what is required. Okay, so the economy tries to bring a stability over here between overproduction and underproduction. The next merit is advantages of the market system. Now, actually, a mixed economy tries to, in a mixed economy, what is happening, that the presence of government actually tries to make sure that all the negative effects of, any kind of institution should be kept very, carefully, and should be kept an eye on, should be checked regularly. So what happens, that most of the institutions of the capitalist economic system, like the private property, inheritance right, the competition, the profit earning, and all of this, these are all retained. Okay, so these kinds of institutions, or these kinds of features of capitalist economy are retained. In other words, they try to sort of avoid the negatives and bring the positives in control. That means what the government does in this situation, that the government tries to take advantage of the market system. Okay, so the government is actually over here trying to do what? Is trying to take the good parts of the economy, okay, and is not trying to lose the good parts, and is trying to lose the negative parts of the economy. That means all the good things of the capitalist economy, they are trying to use it, they are trying to retain it, and all the negative parts in the economy, in the capitalist economy, they are trying to remove it. Okay, all right. Now the next merit is rapid economic development. Now, a mixed economy actually uses the combined resources, and it uses combined energies for both the private as well as public sectors in order to promote the economic development. So there is rapid economic development with the help of the resources that are available, and the resources that are available are evenly distributed among the private and the public sector. Okay, public ownership of the resources makes sure that economic development is achieved with social justice. Actually, the public sector, that means government, tries to make sure that all the resources that are being used for the purpose of production are very properly distributed and help in achieving economic development, rapid economic development, with absolute social justice, by not doing anything wrong with the resources, by not wasting them, but fully, properly, and utilizing them appropriately. Okay. Next is check on concentration of economic power. Now, basically a mixed economic system is able to keep a check on the concentration of economic power. Okay, so a monopolistic control of industries and the exploitative tendencies are curbed. That means all the issues, all the negativities related to exploitation, related to monopoly, these are all removed. Okay, and at the same time, inequality of income is also very carefully kept under the check by the government. Okay, so with the help of taxation method, the problem of inequality is very carefully seen and very carefully checked by the government. Okay, and the government not only tries to check the inequality, but the government also provides equal opportunities to the people. Okay, so all the people in the society are kind of getting economic opportunities, and that also equal economic opportunities. Okay, so this is a check on concentration of economic power. Next is economic and political freedom. This we also saw, if you remember, in the features, and we are going to see it again, that economic and political freedom is given. Consumers are free to choose between the commodities. People are free to choose in their occupations they like. Okay, and not only that, but people are free to save, people are free to invest. Of course, government is going to have a certain kind of control over all these things, but definitely people are free to do things. Okay, at the same time, mixed economy allows people to have political freedom also, civil freedom also. Okay, so if we can say that in short, a mixed economic system, the system of mixed economy It actually takes the advantages of capitalist economy and socialist economy and combines them together. And it tries to, and a mixed economy removes the negative or the demerits of capitalist and socialist economy. Now we are going to see the demerits of a mixed economy. Okay. So the first demerit is conflict between the two sectors. Now, there are two sectors, public and private sector. We all know that. Okay, there are times when both the sectors face a problem of mistrust. They face a problem of collision. They face a problem of bitterness. There is no cooperation. Okay, among both the sectors, because sometimes private sector might feel that government is too much trying to control the situation. And sometimes the government might feel that the private sector is not really working according to the social welfare motive. They are only concentrating on the profit earning motive. Okay, so these issues can lead to conflicts between the two sectors. Next problem or demerit is short-lived nature. A mixed economy cannot run for a long period of time. What happens ultimately, if the public sector starts, expanding and tries to do better work as compared to the private sector, then there is a chance that the economy can convert into a completely socialist economy from a mixed economy. It can stop being a mixed economy and it can convert fully into a socialist economy. And if it is seen, on the other hand, that the private sector is trying to prove itself and is trying to do better than the public sector, then in such a situation, mixed economy can be converted into a fully capitalist economy. Therefore, a mixed economy where both the economies combine together cannot remain for a very long time. Either it has to be over a period of time, either it converts into a capitalist economy or it finally converts into a socialist economy. Next demerit is inefficient operation. Now, the private sector may not be able to function effectively. The reason is that why the private sector is not able to function efficiently, there is a reason for it. It is because of the excessive control and regulation of the government. Now, when government is in control, in that situation, private sector might not be able to efficiently function. Okay, so what happens here, that there is an inefficiency found. The ways of operating in the private sector is quite inefficient in that case. Okay, on the other hand, if public sector, because there's a lot of initiative from the bureaucrats also, and there is no initiative, no responsibility, and bureaucrats are not really properly working, and either they are too much interfering or they are not caring at all. In such a situation, then the public sector can also turn to become inefficient. So there are chances when both the kinds of sectors can become inefficient. The next demerit is poor performance of the public sector. See, in a mixed economy, what happens is that there has been a record that the public sector has poorly performed. Okay, so the public sector, actually problem is that public sector faces lots of problems. It faces the problem of red tapeism. I hope you know the meaning of red tapeism. Actually, red tapeism is a situation where too much paperwork is done for a particular procedure. The procedure is not so, ultimate work is not too much, but the paperwork and too much documentation and too much procedure before that particular work leads to red tapeism. Okay, so that is red tapeism. On the other hand, inefficiency is also another problem of the public sector. So if a public sector is facing red tapeism, or it's experiencing inefficiency, or it is also experiencing inertia. Okay, or inertia actually means a situation where something is not in action. Okay, or something becomes very lazy, something becomes very dull, or something becomes very stagnant. Okay, or a tendency to do nothing at all. Okay, it's not very active to do something. So if a public sector becomes like this and suffers problems of inefficiency, inertia and red tapeism, then the performance of the public sector can become poor. The next problem or demerit is excessive regulations. Actually, what happens, the government may like to regulate the private sector. And how it tries to regulate the private sector? By imposing too much, control over it, like in the form of licensing system, in the form of monetary and fiscal regulation. So what happens is that these kinds of regulations, or in other words, uh, these kinds of systems, and too much of licensing, too much of pressure on the sector, on the private sector, can lead to excessive regulations, and can lead to problem of inconvenience, or it can lead to economic inefficiency. Okay, so these are the problems that happen. Okay, so these are the demerits of a mixed economy. That means it's not that mixed economy is perfect. There are problems in a mixed economy also. Now students, I hope you are able to understand whatever is being taught here. I hope that you will follow everything that is explained here in your books as well. I hope you have seen the page number on the first slide itself. Please follow the page numbers as you carry on with the video. All the best students, and prepare well.